Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and this is video number 4 of my beginner gardening series. And today we're going to be chatting about how to decide what seeds to start and when. All right, so standing in front of a seed, like a row of seed packets, can feel super overwhelming very quickly. The mistake most beginners make isn't choosing the wrong seeds, it's starting the right seeds at the right time. So today I'm going to be walking you through exactly how I decide what seeds to start, when to start them, and just as importantly, what I wait on. All right, and I hope you guys are enjoying this beginner gardening series. If you're interested in watching all the other videos, it's a 14 video series that I started at the beginning of January and goes all the way through the February. You can watch these in the playlist link at the end of this video. So what we're going to cover today, everything starts with your last frost date, know which seeds actually benefit from indoor starting, slow growers versus fast growers, count backwards instead of guessing, let your setup set your limits, and give yourself permission to wait. So let's get started on those. All right, number 1, everything starts with your last frost date. This is your beginning point to make any decisions regarding seeds. So seed starting isn't about the calendar month, it's about your last frost date. Just because everybody else might be starting seeds in January doesn't mean it's necessarily the best time for you to be starting seeds in January. So what we're going to learn about this. First of all, your last frost date is the anchor for your entire season. Figuring out that last frost date is so incredibly important. How can you figure out that last frost date? You can go and Google USDA grow zones, put in your zip code, and it will tell you what your zone is. And then you can also Google what your last frost date is for that zone with that zip code. So the last frost date tells you when plants can go safely outside. It tells you that winter is over, you're moving on for the spring, and things that are sensitive to frost and freezes are safe to go outside. It also tells you how long seedlings need to live indoors. So it gives you an idea of if I start now, these plants are going to be indoors for the next 10 weeks, the next 12 weeks, the next 8 weeks, depending on when your last frost date is. In my zone, and that's zone 8 in Texas, average last frost is mid to late March, and the weather varies so greatly. So this is just a guide, but not a guaranteed for me. Sometimes I will have frost and freezes into April. So I'm always looking ahead prior to planting anything outside. Why does your last frost date matter so much? If you start seeds too early, they outgrow containers. Roots become incredibly stressed because they've been indoors too long. Plants weaken before planting out. If they are inside too long, they really just don't thrive well. These plants are made to go outside, and so we're just starting them here, but we want them to do most of their growing outside. All right, on to number 2. Know which seeds actually benefit from indoor starts. Not all seeds want to be started indoors. Very important, even if we want them to. Some seeds are not successful indoors. It's usually pretty obvious, and you can Google those. And typically the seed packets are going to tell you if you should be starting them indoors or if you should be direct sowing outdoors. Such as I recently planted out radish seeds. Now, radish seeds, I can start them indoors, but they don't do great indoors. They don't like to be transplanted. It's just not good for them. So starting directly outdoors was definitely the right choice for them. So what we want to teach today, seeds that benefit from indoor starts. They have some certain characteristics. Typically, they are a little bit slower to germinate, so starting them indoors where you can control the conditions makes it a little bit easier. These seeds typically have a long time to maturity. They're not quick maturing plants. You know, I just referred to radishes. Radishes mature very quickly, which does better for them to mature outside. These seeds tend to be sensitive to cold soil as well, so they might not handle freezing temp soil. However, I will say I start quite a few cool season seeds inside. A few examples of seeds that benefit from indoor starts, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, lisianthus, snapdragon, stalk. All of these are seeds I've started inside. All of these are seeds that benefit from an inside start. So let's talk about seeds that won't necessarily like to be started indoors. A few characteristics they're going to have is seeds that don't like indoor starts grow very fast. They typically have delicate roots and they hate transplanting. And when I say transplanting, that means taking a plant from indoors and transplanting it outside. These are typically plants that don't like to have their roots disturbed. A few examples of seeds that do not like to be started inside: beans, peas, radishes, and sunflowers. Just because a seed can be started indoors doesn't mean it should be. So really think about, prior to purchasing that seed, read the packet, do a little Google research before you put that money in, and see if that seed does well indoors or outdoors. Number 3 on my list is slow growers versus fast growers. This changes everything. So understanding growth speed helps you avoid chaos. Understanding which plants are going to grow really quickly and which ones are going to take their time. We don't want to start a plant that grows very quickly in early January, knowing that for me, my last frost date is mid-March, because basically that plant is going to outgrow my space. It's going to grow too fast indoors, and it's going to run into a lot of issues prior to being able to plant it out after my last frost. So what we want to learn today: slow growers, they typically spend weeks developing roots before you even see the top growth. Top growth is the growth you see above the soil line. The roots are below the soil line. Slow growers typically need early starts to reach maturity on time. That means on time, depending on your weather. I have a very warm spring and an early hot summer, and typically plants that prefer a little bit of cooler soil, I have to start them earlier on so they can get planted outside and have plenty of time to mature prior to the heat getting here. Let's talk about fast growers. So they typically germinate very quickly, 3, 5, 7 days. They also typically outgrow containers within a few days, not weeks. And I just did a round of petunias. Those are very fast growers once they get started. There's a number of other ones, including vincas and impatiens, and these tend to be fast growers inside. So I want to make sure that I'm really observing my last frost date prior to starting those. So a few examples regarding slow growers and fast growers. A pepper seedling may look small for weeks, but that's normal. A pepper seedling is going to only put off a little growth above the soil line, and underneath it's going to be busy working on its roots. And that is definitely normal, and that is definitely a slow grower. Whereas a zinnia will explode with growth and demand space fast. It's going to grow very quickly, which is why a lot of people quite frequently will direct sow zinnias outside. It is a fast grower. Now you can definitely start zinnias inside. You just have to be prepared to put them outside when they're ready. So slow growers equal a patient start. You're going to watch them. The start time is going to be a little bit more extended prior to your last frost, because they're going to be able to do more growing inside. Fast growers equal you want to wait till it's closer to planting them out. I would not want to start zinnias right now. They will outgrow their containers. They will suffer and not do very well if I start them now. But if I wait later on into February, towards the end of February, to go ahead and start them inside, then come mid to late March, when I'm past my last frost, I can just put the plugs directly outside and allow them to do most of their growing outside. If I were to start those zinnias here in January, they would be a fail. Okay, number 4 is count backwards instead of guessing. So I don't ask, when should I start this? Instead, I count backwards from my last frost date. So what we're trying to teach with this, a step by step, you want to look at your last frost date, locate your last frost date, know where that is on your calendar. Then you want to check how many weeks a plant needs for germinating or growing indoors. Let's say that you are starting petunias inside, and it needs to be started 10 to 12 weeks prior to your last frost. You're going to look at your last frost date. You're going to take that 10 to 12 weeks and you're going to mark that date on the calendar. That last frost date, you're going to count back 10 to 12 weeks, and then you're going to put an X on your calendar, knowing that that is when you're going to start those petunias from seed. So a few examples on that. Tomatoes, you want to start 6 to 8 weeks from the last frost. For me, my last frost is mid-March, so I would count back 6 to 8 weeks. I plan on starting my tomatoes the first week in February. Another example, peppers take 10 to 12 weeks. You would locate your last frost and you would count backwards 10 to 12 weeks, and that is when you would start your peppers. Now, flowers have a lot of variation depending on when you want to plant them. So for me, for something like petunias, I like to plant petunias the first week in April. So I can look at my calendar. I know that that first week in April, it's past my last frost date, but I know that that's the week I want to plant them out. And so I can look at that week and I can count backwards from there to decide when to start my petunias from seed. Why does this method work? Why does this counting backwards method work? It removes emotion from decisions. It removes the emotion and it just tells you that this is when you want to start, which is an excellent approach for beginner gardeners. It also prevents early start regrets. Starting too far ahead can lead to chaos. It can lead to overcrowding, more disease, mildew, fungus gnats, stressed out plants. You don't want to start them so far ahead of time that they are straining to get outside. All right, number 5 on my list is let your setup set limits. And when I mean setup, I mean, where are you growing these seeds? Are you growing them inside in a grow room like me? This actually used to be a dining room. I changed it into a grow room. Are you growing it in your laundry room? Are you in the garage? Where are you and where are you growing these seeds? That is going to help set limits on when and where to start your seeds. Your seed starting setup decides how much you can realistically grow. And this is something I'm making a big change for myself for this year. I got really, really intense with seed growing last year and grew hundreds and hundreds of seedlings. Turns out I can't support hundreds of seedlings within this room. So this year I scaled back, allowing my seedlings to have more space and more airflow throughout the space, which takes away the chances of fungus and disease. So some of the things I'm trying to teach here, light space matters more than seed quality. You can buy the most expensive, beautiful seeds, and if you don't provide the light that is needed to start a seed, it's not going to matter how much you spent on those seeds. Making sure that your seedlings have adequate light, or even better than adequate light, is so incredibly important to the success of your seedlings. Overcrowding leads to poor airflow, disease, and weak seedlings. This is the area that I struggle most with, and so I really want to make sure I point it out to beginner gardeners. Start smaller scale. Start with fewer seeds and learn how much that you can actually accomplish within your space. It's better to grow fewer plants and produce healthier plants. So it's super important. You'd much rather start 10 petunia seeds and have 10 beautiful, large, gorgeous, healthy petunia plants rather than try to start 50 of them and actually only end up with 20 or so weak, sad, struggling plants. Number 6 on the list, give yourself permission to wait. Do not be thrown in on what all the other gardeners and all the other YouTubers are doing. You need to do what works best for you and your garden. Waiting is not falling behind. And this is really hard for gardeners in our colder zones right now. My gardeners who are in zone 6 and 5, you're watching all of us zone 9 and 8 getting started on seed starting. And it's very tempting to get started. But once again, going back to that frost date, choosing that frost date and counting backwards from there tells you when the best time is to start seedlings for your garden. So what we're trying to teach is many plants do better when started a little bit later. They do not want to do all of their growing inside. They want to do a little bit of their growing inside and most of it outside. You don't need to grow everything from seed to be a real gardener. Super, super important. You don't have to grow anything from seed to be a real gardener. Seed starting is something that I was pretty much maybe 4 to 5 years down the line of my gardening career prior to starting seeds. I did a lot of investigative gardening within my space, learning about different plants, learning how to water, learning about sun, learning about all that prior to starting from seed. You do not have to start from seed to be a gardener. Now, is starting from seed fun? Oh yeah, it's super fun. I really, really love it. It will never cease to amaze me how this tiny little speck becomes a big, beautiful, glorious plant. So if seed starting is something that you're interested in, you can still do some of that as a beginner gardener. But if you're not interested in it, it's okay. You're still a gardener without starting from seed. Okay, seed starting success is about timing. Incredibly important. It's all about timing, not rushing. It's very important to remember that you are trying to do what's best for your gardens. So making sure that you understand what your grow zone is, making sure you're counting backwards from that date, making sure that whatever seed you're trying to start, that you're making sure that starting it inside is what it wants and what it needs. And then really focusing on timing, not starting too early on your seeds and not stressing these seedlings out, but keeping them indoors for so long. All right, I hope you guys are enjoying this process. These videos are really based off of what I wish somebody had told me when I was a beginner gardener. They're not meant to be overly complicated. They're meant to be simplified with giving you some very simple answers and allowing you a really good place to start for your garden. And so seed starting, it's all about knowing the timing on seed starting, and that is half the battle with seed starting, is understanding timing. So I hope this has worked out for you all. Reminder that this is part of a 14 video series that I started at the beginning of January and should be wrapping up mid-February. And the playlist link is at the end of this video if you want to check it out. And the next one of this series, video number 5, is beginner indoor seed starting step by step. So we've talked about timing and understanding what seeds to start and when to start them. So in the next video, we're going to talk about actually starting the seeds indoors, which is going to be super fun. And if you're like me and you are on a gardening journey and you would like to do that with some gardening friends, be sure to check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It is a small group of people who just love to talk about gardening. If you would like to become a certified mad gardener within my Patreon community, you get access to lives, exclusive videos only permitted for patrons, as well as group chats, photo sharing, and direct messaging to me for all of your questions. All right, you all, as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.